Hey guys.
Hello, let me see if we're on.
Okay. It's Lindsay and Casey, and we're in art camp. We thought we'd film up front so you can say hello. The kids can say hello to you. They love. So we would get into membership in the last art camp, and they loved it. I am having a crazy hair day, and I'm still swollen from my allergic reaction. So don't judge me. My head's
I'm not even. I
as
haven't
big
even
as a
brushed
basketball.
my head.
Well, look at this. It's just blows every day. It's just.
See, look, it's like
humid.
crazy here.
Yeah.
Yes,
You
we're
crank
on.
the air. We're on. So say hello if you're on. You're gonna hear a little bit of background noise. I'm gonna show you really quickly like how to make these. They're so adorable. The kids are making these. Whoops. The kids are making these tomorrow. So in the art camp, we have. Say hello if you're on first though. I just quickly made these for their examples in class, and I'm going to show you how we do this in a minute. I'm going to show the kids.
I feel like
to
I'm
say
sitting on your
hello to
lap.
you. I know you're so close to me. I said, listen, we bought the same thing at the same boutique that's at Lisa's or other space, and I wrote Lindsay today, like, are you wearing that shirt?
Nope.
She was like, no.
I said you're okay.
We're okay. So say hello if you're on.
Joanne is on and Dana.
Hello. Hi, Dina. Hi, Joanne.
It says more comments, but not.
Can't see him yet. Okay, I see my giant head in there.
Live chat.
Yeah, I had wheat that I didn't have since 2008. It's been a rough days. It's always something though.
It is
Like,
always something.
I'm gonna tell the kids. I'm gonna ask them to say hello to you. Boys and girls, can you say hello to everybody online? We love them. So every summer we do 5 art camps. One year we did do 6. We brought it back down to 5.
Yeah.
It's busy. We do a dozen projects with them every week. And so it's like having 12 classes within the week because we actually step by step go through projects with them. We don't do crafting. We actually do projects like we would do in our classes with our adults, and we modify based on their ages and their skill set. And so we have 150 kids throughout the summer, and
It's busy.
It's busy. It's so much fun. So we're going to show you a project that we created for them that they're painting tomorrow. Right now they're doing their mandala art on albums. So
And I'm so excited that one of our members.
Lean over. No one can see you.
Sorry, one of our members just told me to put our mandala clock in the mail, so we should be getting
Mary,
it.
I can't wait
So
to see you.
yeah, it'll be hung. I said somewhere in here was pride.
Yeah,
so
she does
an honor.
beautiful work.
Yeah,
I have to
beautiful.
tell you, I did my first official dot mandala work, and I'm shooting it behind me, and my head even looks bigger.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is a camera. We're gonna go straight down to show you. But I did a piece last night on canvas because I got Diane's drawing tools to make louder. And so I loved it. I should have brought it. I should have the kids on the camera.
Joanne says they are so cute, but the patience I think I would be lacking. I'm with you, Joanne. I've been out of the classroom way too long.
You know, Lindsay was a principal and of a special needs school.
And a kindergarten
teacher. She was an administrator.
Yeah.
And so
I've been out of practice.
yes. So they were really quiet until I had to say hello. Now
Yeah.
they probably can't even hear us.
They're just getting their paint.
Yeah, so they're getting their paints, they're selecting their colors, and so they drew out their patterns on their albums. So they're doing that, and then we're also doing alcohol ink glass art, and I bought these white frames.
Really cool.
And we're gonna put alcohol inks, make flowers and different designs on the glass, and then framed in the white frames for the art show will be stunning.
Yes, they are stunning.
No matter what design.
I love alcohol inks anyways.
Me too. So we always try to include one purpose with alcohol inks, and we mat it and frame it. We have a real art show on Fridays. When we have art camp, so friends and family can come. We usually have about 150 people through on Fridays, and the kids are beyond excited by Friday.
Yeah, this noise level is nothing compared to Friday.
Yeah, or when they're outside doing their chalk art. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through this process just quickly. A couple of things. So if you don't have watercolors, this is one of our kids' watercolor trays from here. I just haven't grabbed them for me. If you don't have watercolors, watercolors, what we did is we put a very small amount of our acrylic paints on our plate. I'm going to show you how to water them down, okay? Because whenever I created these ones, I used acrylic.
Yeah,
Because my water,
you have to wash
Eliza had my big set at her house because I have a really nice set of watercolors. So I didn't have that with me, and so I used acrylics watered down. And then the children are going to be using their watercolor sets. But if there's a color that's not in here and you want it, then we'll get it.
You taught me a new trick with watercolor. Because I used to think that you would like load the water in here, and I never knew why my colors weren't so
They're
bright.
not rich. So, guys, if you want your colors to look like very vibrant, rich, what you're going to do is you're going to mist it. We keep these in the studio, these little water bottles. Do that like a couple minutes before you start because it's going to soften them and it's going to be really easy to like drop your color in there, okay? And so
Yeah, that was different. Because I didn't know.
Hey, I don't know that you might have to dry them down a little bit.
Let me
Do you think? A tiny bit? Tiny bit? Lexi's gonna start teaching soon. Okay, guys. So what I did is, so make sure you can hear us. And then Lindsay, okay, there we go. There we go. Okay. So it'll be a little bit pointed.
So we're gonna keep trying.
You just wiggle it, yes. Okay, guys, so what you do is you just get Elmer's glue or any brand of this spool glue and you're going to put black paint in it. Only use glue that has a tiny bit.
Black paint.
Only use glue that has a little bit in it. If you try to color a whole bottle of glue, it'll take you 10 years in a day. Yeah. Any comments too? Hello.
Juanita was playing in Procreate and doing mandala dot art. That's pretty cool.
Oh my goodness, by the way, if you're not in our summer fun free art camp for adults, go to it. This is free. We have about 2,000 people in there that we're teaching every single day. We have guest artists, and it made me think of Leanna in there who taught the dot art.
Yes.
So that's free to join. Just put in your email address. The links will stay in there for good. So I wanted to mention that because we've done so many things. That I did the camping gnome for free in there too.
Yeah.
On the day that we started, which day was that?
Saturday.
Oh, our days go by so fast. And so we had Katrina in there from L&K Glass Art doing glass art
Last
yesterday.
night, yep. And we had Canvas sign design.
Yeah, she did a beautiful job as well.
So-
Life's a Beach. Is that
Life's a Beach,
Yeah,
yeah.
Life's a Beach on a
18-inch
lazy
circle.
season.
Yeah.
And that was beautiful. Tonight we have April, and she's going to do some wood art painting, some painting on wood.
We have creative handwriting still, and then the tiered tray decoration for the evening.
Yeah.
So we
Sure thing.
still have a bunch coming up, but also
Oh, and
make
I'm
sure-
doing the beach one.
Oh,
on
yeah, the
Saturday.
beach
Or
also.
Friday
Yes.
Friday at 7. Yeah.
But if you haven't liked this page also, make sure to like the KCKHQ because when we do more things like this,
We do
you'll get
pictures
notified
on
when
there,
we're live.
That's true. So guys, so
We're not washing our
glue.
hands until snack.
only use like an inch of it. They made a mistake doing this here instead of upstairs. I like these even laughing back there. We have Eliza, Isabella back there.
Yeah, Madison.
Madison's back there, and several other helpers. But anyways, about an inch, maybe not even an inch. So
Yeah.
I can tell you, I had problems with this.
Yeah.
I did. So this gets stuck. And by the way, we use. Okay, that bothers me. You put it in front of my eyes.
Now, well, I am way over here and I can't.
Like right here.
It's over here.
So when you're old and things are closer to you, it's completely blurry. So when she puts it right here, I see this big blurred mark.
I can't find the camera
Okay,
today.
hold on one second. So this is black gesso, which is a very thin acrylic paint. It's much easier to use a thinner paint to put in here if you have a black craft paint. Much easier. I actually had these because of our pottery side over here, and we use these like for writing on pottery and things like that. So this is like just a plastic bottle. I have another one here that's like a writer. But you can just even Google. We got them for the kids,
Yeah,
like a
2
40
ounce.
pack, 2-ounce plastic bottles. Okay, and so because the reason why I won't stick with this, when I made these original ones, I feel like I'm yelling. So when we made these original ones, when I made them, this gets stuck constantly.
That's what you said.
Drove me crazy. crazy, crazy, crazy.
Yeah.
I was constantly cleaning out the top. I was constantly moving this down. I was using all my pressure to squeeze it. These don't get stuck. Also, you can put, like, I had a paper clip in there to keep the hole open, so you can do that. This one comes with a pin, so I put a pin in there. This is for much finer lines.
It is.
I didn't show you. I did a realistic cow.
Did you?
I did, because I'm crazy. So I didn't just do the fun ones. One day I was like, ooh, let me make one that's realistic. So I didn't get the eyes on that.
Yeah,
so
and this
I'm
one,
gonna do that.
we use this for, like you said, for the pottery, but I always got stuff stuck in here because it would dry too.
So because the pins never
Yeah.
stick. People don't put the pins back then, that's why. Most of the time. Okay, so I'm gonna put this facing down, all right? So I'm gonna go straight down, all
I
right?
do really like the hippo.
I like the hippo too, so
I'm
I
gonna
can
move
mention.
away from you now.
So, yeah, she can move away, not hold things in front of my right eye.
Exactly.
That's simple.
Well, I'm used to the camera
I
up
can
here.
see, yeah. Okay, guys, so don't ask me why I did a
We're
dock.
gonna go ahead and get started.
But I
Even if
did
you're
a dock.
still getting your paint on your
We need
plate.
to fix the microphone, just need to wiggle it so she's not screaming. Okay,
With this
so
part, we're gonna start
we're
with
gonna do the, I love the duck bill, it ended up being my favorite, okay? So we're gonna start with the hippo though. So we gave the kids two choices to do the hippo in class, or two choices, the hippo and then also they have a choice to do the giraffe and then they get to free paint one of them, okay? I'm gonna give Lexi just a minute to put on the headset. Because we can't hear
It's not
you.
working.
She's gonna fix it for
Okay.
you. She's gonna wiggle a little
Because it
bit.
was on and then it wasn't on.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the hippo today. And since this has to dry, so this glue is gonna take like a good part of the day to dry, so you can't get the project done all at one time. What I did when I put these through, I did it, I put the black glue on and then I came back hours later and I think maybe even the next day and I painted them, okay? So I'm going to get my glasses on. But again, you can work from this glue bottle. I just really struggled with it, okay? So I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna work from this glue bottle, which we just mixed some up. And I'm going to show you the process, but we have one here dry that Diane did for me. We have one that's dry. And see, it can be wonky, even if you're squeezing and a lot comes out at one time. And we want to show the kids that it doesn't have to be perfect. And so, our examples for them are like this, that they're not perfect. So we don't want them to get stressed out trying to make the lines perfect, okay? So what I do before I use this is I'll test it on a plate. We were mixing one, but I want to test it out because it's not like white. Okay. All right, she can go ahead then. So guys, when you're doing this, what you want to do is make sure that you're pressing on the paper and you're lifting off. I'm sorry it's so loud. I don't think she plugged in the headset and it wasn't, so see how that came out very heavy? That's okay because it'll look really cute. Whenever I get a bunch on here like this, I'm going to tap it off and then we'll start here. But you just want to press a little bit on your paper and then bring it around, okay? And like in the ears, if you want to fill that in black and have that shadow, you would do that, okay? So I'm going to turn this and I'll stick my hand in the paint. And when I come around here, and then I'm going to put this black in right here. But be very aware of putting your hand in the paint, okay? I'm left-handed, so I usually try to pay attention to that. And then I want like just black dots for the eyes. Sorry about that. Usually our headsets are working and it's not as like bothersome. Oh, very noisy. Any questions so far, Lindsay?
I love all the action in the studio. It makes me happy. This live stay on here because not sure if I'll get to watch it all. Yes, absolutely.
We'll keep it on the page.
What kind of paper do you use for these? It's watercolor paper.
We can give links to this too. So what I'll do is, my head's not in the way, right?
No.
Okay. What I'll do is I'll give links to the bottles. We'll give links to the paper. Look, there's a big bubble that came out there. So just press a little harder. Don't hold it up in the air. It's kind of like resting your hand. And I'm actually really shaky today because I've been doing a lot this morning with my spinal cord injury. There's a drip of black, so I don't want to rub that out actually. I'm just going to leave it there. Because with the watercolors, you won't even see it. So you want to press a little harder to steady your hand. And then when you want things to feather off, just lift off your pressure when you come to the end, okay? Like you can make the cutest things with this. Not just kid stuff, like I think you can make adult things with this. Like I should have brought was that in the frame the whole time? I should have brought my realistic cow, but I don't want the kids to look at the realistic cow and feel like they need to do something that's unattainable for them. And so that's why I haven't brought it in the studio yet, okay?
But these are darling. Like I could see these framed in a nursery.
Oh my goodness, yeah, with white frame, white frame, yeah. This is a very heavy watercolor paper. Make sure that the weight, it's really well weighted. So we'll put a link to these in there because we can just pull it from the art camp room, okay? So, oh wait, he needs a mouse.
He needs a mouse.
I didn't do the mouse, so now I might have to hold my hand up here. So you want to start here, and then pull off, okay?
And so someone had asked, is it just black paint, but it's the glue with the black paint to keep the watercolor in the area, correct?
Yes. Now someone told me that they call this is a dry one that Diane did for me the other day. Someone told me that they call this goth glue. There's someone on TikTok that does this quite often. She calls it goth glue. I can tell you a couple of things that I painted with glue maybe even 5 years ago. The Spider-Man was with glue. I've even used glue guns where I've made like trees, and I painted, guys, we have some glue gun art, it's way high up on the wall, that I painted trees with metallic colors and stuff. It was amazing. So this isn't just all you can do with this glue. The Spider-Man, I have a Spider-Man painting that's on the wall. Do you want to grab that?
I will. Do you think it's equal parts glue to black? Or
no,
I
think that it is probably 2/3 glue, 1/3 black. But like I said, I use the gesso, okay? So here's a couple of things, guys. I'm going to show you mainly with acrylics, where you water down acrylics. We have a lot of paintings where we water down acrylics, and so you don't necessarily have to have watercolors on hand. I'm going to respray this because it's been a minute or two, so I'm going to respray this, but I'm going to show you this as well. But look, this has glue on it. The Spider-Man painting, okay? So, and the kids, it doesn't fit in the frame. The kids love doing this, but this has the glue put on and then it dries. And so you can do this with a hot glue gun, but they love the texture of this. Yeah. And there was a lot of sponging in that too. They had a lot of fun. Thank you for grabbing that. Okay, they're quiet now.
They're working.
I felt so bad because it was so long. Lexi, I'm sorry. I'll have to figure out the headset for her afterwards. Okay, so here's a couple of things, guys. So you want to use very soft brushes. Don't use anything with a very,
like a stiff brush.
Yeah, don't use any stiff bristles. You want to use, I'm trying to move this over so they can see better. So, and also we're going to put water in the area that we're painting first, okay? So soft brushes. So what I do is I tend to keep, I need 2 cups of water. I always keep 2 cups of water. So I have one that I rinse it off on first that all the colors tend to collect in, and then I have another one that I put them in once I rinse them off in this cup, okay? So what I'm going to do first, I'll show you with the acrylics first, and then I'll show you with the watercolors next, okay? So I'm just going to take my flat brush. This is a 1/2 inch flat. I'm going to use some water, and I'm going to go in this ear, and I'm going to wet it, okay? The glue holds the watercolors into the ear. So if there is a gap of where the glue is, the watercolors can run out. So keep that in mind, but you can always take your paint towel and you can tap it off, okay? Like if you feel like you have too much water too, you can also. Thanks, Lynn. You're welcome. Okay, so I'm looking to see what brush I want, okay? everybody gathered these for me, which I appreciate so much. But I think I'm gonna use this one here. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm gonna decide like maybe I'll stick with. Oh, we have no teal. Do we not have teal? I love teal and watercolors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a little side pile out, just like how when we do with acrylic painting, we're going to pull the side pile out, okay? And we want it really watered. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to drop it in here, all right? Drop it. Do you see that? Because when you have the water in there first, you drop it and it expands, and it looks very organic, and that's what I love. You can, with watercolors, you can let it dry a little bit, and then you're going to come back and layer it up how you want it. So if I wanted both areas to be blue on the bottom, I would do that at one time. I actually love this process, I have to tell you, Linz. Like, it's just like bleeding out. And see how the glue holds it in its place, okay? I want it, so I try to think of like when I'm painting with acrylics or with oils or anything else, that I want it like shaded a little darker on the bottom, so I'll come back later and I'll shade that. So then I'm going to wash this off in 1 cup, and then I'm going to dry it a little bit, and then I'm going to put some teal on my brush. I'm going to pull my teal off to the side, add water to it. Any questions? Lindsay, now that we're okay, I feel bad.
No. Can I use any brand of black paint to make my black paint blue? Absolutely. If I do have watercolor paint, should I use that instead of watering down acrylics? I said we just really like the brightness.
So what I like is, I didn't bring my, like I ended up, Eliza brought my watercolor set to me. I have one with like, I don't know, 40 colors or so. But I didn't bring it in here. In here we just have these palettes of the kids' palettes. With these colors, and so I tend to like the acrylic colors better. I think that's why.
I always struggle with the brightness when I'm using watercolors, but like I said, I usually put like a ton of water in my watercolor.
Yeah. But I can show you like the yellows. The yellow's going to be very similar, you know. So what I'm going to do, say I'm going to move to this next. All right, so I'm going to spread my water across, and we'll put links in for you later, guys, too. But if you have watercolors, feel free to use the watercolors. But this is something a lot of people don't know, is to wet it first.
Yeah, see, I never knew that.
Yeah, because then it like spreads.
Like I said, I always put tons of water in here and then use that to wet my. But it's like almost the opposite.
Yeah, this will be a lot richer for you if you wet this first. So I feel like when I wet down the acrylics that it bleeds a little bit better for me. You know what I mean? Like where this, I feel like I'm gonna have to get more water, put it in here, you know what I mean, or on the side tray, and then build that up. But see how like I feel like the acrylic spreads a little bit better. I can get more on there. The yellow is vibrant though in this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also, you can always just add more water to that to spread it also. But what I'll do is I'm going to go back to...
I know, Juanita, I didn't think to wet the paper first either. Like just
I
where
love
you
how
want
it
the paint.
bleeds. I love how it bleeds.
Yes.
Yeah.
It almost is like alcohol inks with the bleeding. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Light touch. You don't have to press hard. You just want the water. You just want it to spread out, guys. Just spread out. So I'm going to wash this. I have my paint on my lap for some reason.
Dana just said this is making so much sense to do watercolors, a light bulb moment.
A light bulb moment. I love this. So I'm going to get some, my original has orange in it, but I don't have any orange up here. I just told them to get me, no, it's totally fine. I want you to run again. I just told the girls to get me some vibrant colors because we were kind of saying, well, water's drying in here. I'm going to show you in a minute what to do if you're like right around there. It's not bleeding like I want it to. I'm going to show you in 1 minute. You can use a round brush for this. So I'm just using a flat because it's a bigger area. Okay.
Oh, I could.
Listen, this is addicting. It is so addicting, I can't tell you. So I started, so now I'm gonna get my round brush and I'm just gonna put water in here. I'm gonna let this bleed naturally. Just gonna put some water, that's it. I want it to run. And so if you start getting a puddle where you don't want it, just touch it with your paint towel. But I want that, I don't want a harsh line there. Yeah, listen. The one day, I kept going back to this when I had a million things to do, and I was like, I just want to keep making more, you know? And guys, this is only the first layer, so you can always come back. And what I do is I shade things, you know, make things brighter. So I'm gonna, I have a little puddle here, so I'm gonna take my, because this will ripple up, I'm gonna take my paint towel. I still want a little bit deeper red there, so then I'll just get a little bit more paint and put it in this area, okay? If you need it to bleed again, then you would put a little bit more water.
Yes, Donette, it is a good way to practice light touch.
Yes,
That is an excellent way.
Yes, because it still applies. How I say lift off, lift off, lift off, still applies. So guys, now I'm going to go in the nostrils, okay? I don't think we have any of the same colors that I use. You don't have the dark blue either. So let me go to this tray.
Would you like me to go get some?
No, we're just going to switch between trays. How's that? I don't want to make you run on the other. Our paint station is on the other side just to keep running.
So
over
what
there.
was that hot pink you used up there?
Oh, I have a neon pink at home.
Okay.
Acrylics. Yeah, and it's here. We have neon pink.
Well,
We're
that
gonna
will
get
get
the
me
pink.
up to
She's
go.
gonna get the neon pink. So I was just in the purple. Hold on a second. So I am going to get some purple right here. I need to soften it a little bit more. Or you can use blue. I think I'm going to do blue and purple. I'm going to mix them. And I'm going to drop them right in the nostrils. Now I see that the water's coming out like right here. So I'm just going to wipe that with my finger. The kids were so excited to see this up here because we kind of tend to surprise them each day about what they're going to be doing, and they thought we were starting this today. This is actually tomorrow for them, and they were so excited. But they actually helped me with paints and getting the popsicle sticks and everything out. So what I like about this, once that's dropped in, my shadow is just going to organically go to around the rim of it, and it'll be a little bit brighter in the center. So I love that that just does that on its own. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to my big brush. Lindsay's getting crazy colors. She wants to, you know what? I do have some of that pink right in here.
I didn't even know we had this.
Listen, this is what Lindsay's.
I said you have those somewhere, and I don't think you can
Oh,
buy them.
thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that earlier.
That's okay.
I feel like I was like, I don't know if they could hear. I couldn't hear myself think. It was just like,
It was hard.
I'm sorry. I know. I felt
like,
bad.
Literally-
I felt bad.
Really only
Don't
need
feel
like
bad. I felt bad because I interrupted you.
a dollop.
A dollop. So this, you're not even going to use that. Do you see how much
I
you pulled
know.
off of the red?
I'm trying to just put a little.
So guys, if you have craft paints too, like, and you know there's so many different colors with the craft paints, like you could go wild with that too. We actually have a stand also in here. We have hundreds of little craft paints because when they do their splatter paintings, they get to choose from a ton of colors, like with the craft paints too, huh?
Yeah, and if you don't want to freehand something, you could always print.
Oh yeah, I was going to talk about that.
You
Go
could
ahead.
always print something off the computer, a coloring page, and
You know where's good? Where? Oh, go ahead. I'm
No,
sorry,
go
I
ahead.
interrupted you. Go ahead.
I really didn't have anything else to say. Just saying.
Okay. Guys, I'm gonna grab some purple. But so, okay, we always tell people in our classes, you don't need to be able to water this purple down. The only thing is about this, when I tip this,
Yeah.
like, it'll run together. So I want it shaded on the bottom a little darker. I still think of that in my paintings, even something like this. Like I want it a little darker. So I'm gonna start down there because I want it darker. Maybe I'll set this over here. I'm gonna start down here, okay?
Oh, it's so cool.
Isn't it cool? I love it so much. But anyways, I always say you don't have to be able to draw to paint. So what you can do is you can go to free, like, you have to make sure things, if you're just doing it for your own fun, you can, I need a little bit more water here, you can print any coloring book pages or anything like that and work from there, transfer it with carbon paper. But if you are doing something in a classroom, you need to make sure that it's not copywritten. And if you want to use any of my designs like these, just let me know. Like we can, you know, they can work from this. I'm not worried about it at all, you know. But our membership, they get to use our designs in their classes for our other canvas paintings and things like that. So if you wanted to use these as well, you could. But just be careful if you are selling artwork and using someone else's design. You have to make sure that you're allowed to do that. That's important, okay? So when this starts puddling, I do touch in here. I lost my train of thought. But anyways, you can go to free clip art, is what I was going to tell you. And go to free clip art and reference that. And that actually, if you want to make something very cutesy for children too, it's a good way to reference that also. So I just want water here because I want this to bleed a little. Okay, just a little bit of water.
They said they're so excited to try this. I said, me too. I want to not work the rest of the day.
Yeah, you'll be addicted. Listen, that one day at my desk.
I could see a butterfly being gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a little bit more. I want some blue here. We should do a butterfly in one of the art camps. That's a great idea. We have everything planned out, but we can add that in. So I want to get like a little bit of blue underneath here. Look how it's bleeding. I love the bleeding. Volume's picking up in here again. Sorry guys. We usually too, once they get started on a project, that they get to really choose their own design and drawing, and everybody gets on the same different page. What we do is we put a movie on for them also. This is my arm that Bob is coming. So we have another special needs, I know I say child because he's 21, and adult, yes. And so we have Erica, who we love so much. She brightens everybody's day.
Yes.
And Bobby is starting today. Today's his day at 2 o'clock. So I'm excited for him. A little bit about Bobby before you meet him, because I have to tell you, he really, I think, because of Mark too. Mark, my Marky, he passed away around Christmas time. It's good. Like, again, can't talk about it.
He had Down syndrome and he was here every day. He lived with Casey.
Thanks, Lindsay.
I'll just pick up.
Yeah, I don't know what it's been recently that I thought it was okay to talk about him, and I was, and then recently not. I don't know.
You'll hear us say things like shirt and you're not big enough, or because those were Markisms. But he was here every day and would greet the customers, and he just also was a bright light. So we have a couple special needs adults that come in and work with us, and today is Bobby's first day, and he came. So
well, that's what I would tell the story of when he came for them. What he made them come
in Pennsylvania. He came with his class, and
he said he had to come here for the field trip. So he made one of the schools, because we have a lot of field trips to our studio with the schools and IT departments, things like that. And so he told them they had to come here because he loved to paint so much. And so he brought everybody, and it was in January, and they were painting Frosty, and he loved it so much. And he is a fantastic painter. You could tell, like, it was his thing. And so, but he went into the eyes of Frosty, and I could see how frustrated he was. I'll put this up here. But anyways, I could see how frustrated he was, and because he wanted it perfect. And I went over to him, and I said, Bobby, listen, I sat down next to him, I'm like, we fixed the eyes at the end. We're going to show you how to fix the eyes. And he put his head on my shoulder, and he went, thank the good Lord. Like, do you remember that?
Oh my gosh, it was hysterical.
So cute.
It was like, praise the Lord.
Yeah, and then he was so excited when he was done. So when I got the phone call to ask if he could work here, because they do like a trial for the first 90 hours, and I was so excited to have him. And this was the place he would come, and I was so thankful because I love him so much.
Yes.
Yeah. But he reminds me of Mark, not just because he is young. It's the kind, gentle nature, like, and it's same with Erica. She's a bright light in the room.
Yes.
And I love it so much.
They're just always happy and
always. Yeah, always. So guys, this magenta color, this is another color that I love. You see over here. It's hard to get that with watercolor. You have to build it up quite a bit. But I love this Soho magenta color because it is very beautiful and rich. Hopefully you can see the colors okay. We're in the mix of like sun going in and out. Oh, I need to wet everything first. Hold on, I'm getting another brush. I gotta wet it all. So I'm gonna wet this area.
Someone asked if have we ever tried using salt with acrylics instead of watercolor.
So Lexi has for the kids. I haven't done it, but she did it in her preschools, you know. And so I've seen it done too.
Yeah, I've watched.
Yeah, but I haven't
TikToks
done.
and
But I do like how the salt absorbs
Yeah.
it, and I think it's a great process. Like, and I think the kids would, you know, really like something like that. And I'm always like, guys, if there's anything, like I love to learn new things too. So if there's anything you want to ever teach us or show us, we would love to, you know, to
I
hear
love
it.
to watch art videos.
Oh yeah, she gets sucked in.
I could.
So guys, I will be brightening this probably one more time. I'm going to use my big brush. I'm going to get towards the edge. I'm still lifting off my pressure. I don't want like a harsh mark. I'm going to go around the edges, let it bleed out. I'll put this back over here. My colors are running together. But I just like, because it's so organic, and then everybody's will look beautiful. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and that's what we try to do in art camp too. So we're teaching them things. We're teaching them different ways to create art on so many levels. But I also want them to work on things where they're not stressed and they can make it their own, and it doesn't have to look exactly like ours. So that's important to me in the camps. What's up, Lynn? So down here, I just want this to kind of like bleed out and run out.
Leslie said you could add salt to the watercolor while wet and let it dry. It creates cool effects too.
Wow, that's awesome, Leslie.
Chunky
Hi,
salt.
Leslie. How are you? I love spending so much time with her this week. You know,
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
fantastic. So I'm gonna go back to the purple, and you can just like I have a violet purple here too, but I think I'm gonna go back to the dioxazine purple, and I'm gonna drop that in. Okay, and I'm gonna go in here and drop that in. All right. So I'm just gonna kind of like just touch it here and there. The only thing with watercolors, like layering them up, sometimes you need that dry time in there. Like you have to be a little patient. This is drying enough up top so I can show you how to layer it up a little bit. I'm just gonna drop some water. But I also want to show you a technique on the splattering it because you'll be a little surprised. It's not exactly the same as how you would do it with acrylics. Yeah. So I'm getting a little bit of a run going up here because the paper will, no matter how heavy
Bubble
it is,
or
it bubbles
what,
a
yeah.
little bit, yeah. And you might want to, once it's dry, like put it in a book, flatten it a little bit before you put it in a frame too. You can do that. So pretty, like I'm pretty good with this so far, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up here and I'm going to show you how you can brighten and darken some things, okay? Cool it down.
Yep.
Here we go. Okay. So I'm going to go, the dark blue was on here. I'm like, which palette am I using? So I'm using the watercolors here. So I'm just grabbing a little bit of the dark blue, all right? And this time I'm just putting a little bit of water on my brush with it. And then if I have to drop water into this afterwards, I will. But I want to get a little bit more of a shadow here. Okay, so then I'm going to rinse off my brush and I'm just dropping water. Okay, because I want this darkness to kind of stay in that area. That's a way to kind of, she's taking pictures of me and kill her. Okay, so if you want something to like stay in an area, Lindsay, you're killing me. If you want something to kind of stay in an area too, you can always go back and drop it in, like tap it in, all right? And then I'm gonna go, and I'm just going to wash off my brush. So there's a couple ways you can do this, and then you can tap your water back in there again.
Oh, that's so cool.
Control over the bottom,
Yeah.
you know? Because I wanted that shadow there, okay? So you can do that, like say I want to go with my red. I'm gonna go to,
You can use painter's tape and tape all the sides down before painting, and that will help the paper stay flat as it dries too.
yeah, so we did that with the watercolor bookmarks we made with the kids.
Oh, yeah, you did.
And it made such a nice edge on it too. And we did leave them on the table to dry flat. And so I'm so glad you brought that up. So I want this a little bit brighter, like down in these areas, or darker, I should say. But yeah, that's a great tip. Okay, so I put my red in there first. And then I'm going to let it bleed again. I'm going to organically go to this line. A little bit more water. Only water. because I don't want any harsh lines. I want to keep that organic look, but I also want to
have more vibrant of a color in the
I want the contrast, yeah. Lindsay's gonna do this later, I'm telling you. It's coming. It's coming. But I do like, you have to be a little bit more patient with watercolors though. Like just you know, let it dry. If you really want to get some contrast in there, you can always come back multiple times. The other thing is if you're using acrylics instead of the watercolors, you can add a little bit of white if you lose your brightness, or if you're just using the watercolors, it's a little bit harder to do that. And right here, I'm going to tap with my finger. Okay? What do you think so far?
I think it looks cool.
So down here, I think I'm going to add the water first. It's a bigger area, right in through here. This is still wet over here, so I'm okay. So I'm going to get my purple. I want to get this a little bit darker down towards the bottom. Just thinking like, where's the light hitting, even on the watercolor? I'm kind of like crazy about that, but I teach the kids the same way. And this isn't looking as organic right here, so what I do is I just go and get my water again and drop it in there, okay? And then I'm going to tap that out just a little bit because it's heavy. And then I'll let it run again. Busy day with traffic out there. Holy moly. We're just all kind of noise today.
Knock on wood, we haven't had any sirens.
You just jinxed us right now. I'm thinking you jinxed us. Actually, I'm surprised how quiet the kids are right now doing that. They must be like laser focused. So I'm just getting some like shadow in here underneath. Like I said, I'd probably come back a few times. I didn't come back too often on the other hippo. I think I only did it 2 times on this hippo right here that you're seeing. I only did it twice. As you can see, the colors, like the contrast is very similar. And then I'm going to go back to the magenta. Okay, any questions, Lindsay?
No, they just have to find watercolor paper and cute designs.
Cute design.
Get some work.
Listen, I'll make some more designs if you want me to make some more designs. We can put the duck and the hippo and the giraffe in there for them. We can put them into, if you guys want to do that, you can. Some water. So I'm putting the dark in and I'm using the water. Spreading this out. You notice I'm not like tipped straight down. I'm using the side of my brush. Like I'm not using the tip, I'm dropping the water into the side, okay? See these piles? It's so watered that it's running all over, okay?
You can move that one up.
This one up a little.
Yeah.
Let me get,
Sorry.
my space here is all, it's too much stuff. Here, Lindsay, this is now the cords in this.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, stuff everywhere. All right, now we can move it up. All right, so I'm using like the side of my brush, not the wide part, all right? I'm gonna get my water. The end of that again. I don't like the puddle right here. I'll keep touching that. I keep an eye on it. You know what I'm thinking about is how I just filmed the elephant for them.
Oh, yeah.
And about using the spray bottle and letting it run and tapping it off, you know? So I kind of had a week with things like this, you know? A lot of fun. But this magenta color, I love it so much. Okay.
I do like magenta.
I do too. But yeah, that's why I did more of the acrylics versus the actual watercolors. But the set that Eliza had in mind has a lot of like vibrant colors, and it just depends on what you have on hand. And you can actually even spray this down below, or you can let it run, like pick it up and let it run off. Also, kind of like the lion. I'm gonna get some more water. I want to make that a little bit more organic because you're seeing the actual paint is too thick right here. Let it run, and I'm actually gonna let that run off. Like I'm gonna kind of like we do our lion and our. And you can always take your spray bottle. Here's another thing you can do to let it run. You can take your spray bottle and just kind of go like that and get some marks out of there. So I'm watching this with the eyes right now, guys. I'm watching this run down from the ear. So you got to keep like an eye on stuff like that because you can take it out, you know. It's just getting through the glue over there. If you have too much water, it'll do that, okay? So you can spend some time like building this up.
That magenta, is that the Soho magenta?
Yep, it's a Soho magenta. So guys, for these little splashes on here, I'm going to go over that with you. So you just need your cleaner water, and you need a little bit of, you can use all different size brushes, but I just used a round brush, and so I'm going to get a round brush. Okay. The duck has quite a lot of splatters on there. So you want water, all right? Water. My plate is looking crazy. You have your side pile. Put water in your side pile, okay? I'll show you what's key to this though, what makes it really easy. Is you actually have to, I'm trying to get the cup in the, I'm gonna move this over so you can see this a little better. I don't usually work straight down. I'm always on an easel because of my back and stuff. And so, I'm a mess working straight down. Okay, so what I do is, once I, it's right here. What I do is, I have the water color on my brush, all right? Then I go, is the cup still not in there? There we go. Got it? Okay. So then I go in my cup and then I drip it right on there. So that's an easy way. You see that? It still has a lot of color on there. And you can have a little bit more control where you just like drip it like little nice tiny drips too. But I kind of like it a little splattered. And it kind of organically spreads a little bit too, so I like that also. You do have to make sure your brush is clean every time you're getting another color. But you wouldn't think, like, we have ways of doing splatter with acrylics that are different than this. And like you use toothbrushes, or you can tap the brush to get it with another brush. You can do that. But I found this the easiest way, so you really have to water it down on your plate first, okay? Then you stick it straight in the water, and then you can make your mark. Like, I tend to, you can make the splattered mark, or you can use just a bigger round brush and just have like a couple round dots. But I find this to be the easiest way to make these little splatter marks. And I use the colors that I have within my paintings. So you don't necessarily have to use them all. Like right now I'm putting a little bit of this blue in here. I'm going to water this down quite a bit. You can even take this off to the side over here in the tray. And then you come back here and you drip it on. Okay? Very easy. Any questions, Lindsay? That one went into it. We have a little poll here.
They're just asking if we could put the designs in the group and like the watercolor paper.
Yeah. Or in this group. Yeah. Okay. In our membership too, guys, we'll upload this into your bonus section where you'll have this. If you do want to teach us in any, we have a lot of people that paint at home. We have a ton of business members as well. So our members, you can teach us in your art camps to your children because it's a lot of fun. Like, they are so excited.
They're adorable.
Yeah. So you don't necessarily have to do all the colors, but I think I'm going to leave it to like those three. What do you think? So and then once it dries, then you can go if you want to make, add more contrast. But this is very similar to this one. I just made this maybe a little bit brighter here. My yellow I went back to. But you can go and keep, adding to that as it dries. So this is what I did. So
Is that like 8.5 by 11 paper?
It is, yeah. So what I did was I had them all out at the same time because I don't have any patience. So I would paint the first layer on, say, the giraffe. And then I would go to the first layer of the hippo. And then I would go to the first layer of the duck. And then by the time I got back to the very first one, it was dry. Because I kind of like to do everything all at once, So, and this, I don't know what prompted me to sketch a duck out and do this. We do have a couple of painters who love ducks so much, so I was kind of thinking about them too. But, like, if you're grass, when you're doing the sun, you're gonna think of like how we do our acrylic painting, how your pressure's gonna come off as you come down, so it fades out, because you don't want a harsh line when things are like bleeding and fading out.
You don't want the rectangle.
Yes, you don't want a rectangle, you want a block. And the other thing is to remember to wash off your brush and put a little water on this to make it organically fade out too, okay? So play with it a little bit. You can tell I went back and I brightened the yellow here on the duck too. You know, I went to the sun and I put a little bit of orange and yellow on here.
We have some painters that have more paint on them.
They like to have a lot of paint on them. Yeah, it's too cute. She's like, oh dear.
Oh dear.
They're redheaded. They're so cute though. One day, the girl looked up and she paint all over her face, and I was like, oh my. She's like, it's so cute. You make me laugh though. Does it bring back your years?
Oh, it gives me agita. That means an upset stomach in Italian.
I love it so much.
Ugh.
I do. I love it so much.
I start twitching.
She came back from Mexico in the middle of my camp, and I looked up and she goes, I'm twitching. I'm twitching.
Yeah, I wasn't here
And
5
I'm like,
minutes.
listen, I am so excited. I love every second of being here. I tear up when I leave on Friday. I do. But anyways, anybody have any questions?
I don't think so.
That's it? Yes?
They love it, love it, love it, love it.
You guys are awesome. Let me know if you need anything. Maybe I'll sketch some other things out and
Yeah.
put them in the comments.
Cat. That would be
I
cute.
could see a cat. What did we say earlier? There was something earlier that we were like, oh, that would be
Butterfly.
such a butterfly. Yeah. So maybe we'll sketch out a few other things. I'm sure the kids will have us sketching out some stuff tomorrow anyway, and they come up with great ideas.
They do.
You know?
They do.
And you should see some of what they're doing for the dot mandala albums. Like one, she doesn't want me to say it because of the class, but she wants to be surprised. But she's doing paw prints across the album. It is so cool.
Yeah, so someone was doing strawberries, and the little boy did the different like Batman and Iron Man, and it's really pretty cool.
So if they struggle drawing something, we'll help them sketch it out, so they don't, stress out. But I like how you're half off there with my swollen head, and she goes behind me. Lindsay. Listen, she used to set the camera up under my chin. I'm just saying that. And then the days that she's on, like it's from a pie. Just saying. It's kind of funny. All right,
I can help this way over here.
You guys enjoy your day. Thanks for joining us. I hope that you send pictures, post pictures. I want to see them. Yeah, so show us your art, because nothing makes me happier than getting into the emails, getting into the groups, into our membership.
Oh, they're giving us ideas. Yay.
And what's the ideas? Before we get off.
Flamingo
would be great.
Mouse, a whale.
Great. Okay, guys, I'm going to sketch for you. I will. And we'll outline in black, and then we can post them in the comments. So, guys, if you're watching the replay later, put replay. Sorry about all the noise at the beginning. I was stressed for you. I felt bad.
Usually it's me who's stressed.
I felt bad. I'm like, I don't even know if they can hear us. But, and if you have other ideas, put them in there, because I love to sketch things out. You can trace them with black marker. I'll sketch them, you trace them.
I can trace them.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
We'll see you
guys
later.
Have a great day. Enjoy painting.